Hi guys! Alright, I've only attempted to do this like 5 million times already, so I always have my friends who buy cameras ask me, hey Mo, I don't understand what the difference between aperture, shutter speed, and ISO are. Like, what do they all do? And I know when I was first starting off as a photographer, it was really hard for me to understand what those three things did as well. It's a lot to learn, it's really confusing, but I promise with time, if you just play around with them, it'll make more sense. But I thought I'd also just try to do this little tutorial to explain what they all mean and do. So here we go. All right, so shutter, aperture, ISO. They're the three variables that control the exposure for your photograph. And it's what we also call the exposure triangle. So these three are all linked together. It's a big balancing act of making sure they are all balanced to give you the rightly exposed. The rightly, is that even a word? The right exposed? The best exposed photo. So we'll start with aperture. Aperture refers to the opening of a lens's diaphragm through which light passes through. If you look at your camera, see in the middle, there's that little hole. So that's your aperture, and this aperture is really closed down. And when you are shooting at a closed down aperture, a small aperture, you're cutting off the amount of light. Not that much light will be coming through. And if you have a bigger aperture, or someone might say shoot wide open, that means more light will come through. When you have a wider aperture, you're shooting at a smaller f-stop number. So it would be like an f2 or an f2.8. And when you're shooting closed down with a smaller aperture, you're shooting with a bigger f-stop number. So f16, f22. Aperture is always the first thing that I go to when I start exposing my image because it controls the depth of field for your picture, which is so cool. The depth of field refers to the range of distance that's sharp in your photograph. So I shoot a lot of portrait photography, and I'll shoot wide open, not super wide open. I'll shoot at like an f4, and I do that because I want my audience to focus in on my subject. So I'm forcing my audience to look at my subject because it is a shallow depth of field. It's just my subject in focus, and everything else, the focus falls off of them. If I am shooting nature photography, like a landscape of nature, I'm going to shoot closed down, and that creates a deep depth of focus. That means there's going to be more range of focus in my picture. And I'm doing that because the entire photo is my subject, right? All of nature, like that whole landscape is my focus. So I want all of it to be sharp. It might be a little confusing when I say wide open is a smaller f-stop number. It's like, well, why is a smaller number associated with a bigger hole, and when I say hole, a bigger aperture, and why is a smaller aperture associated with a bigger f-stop number? The way I taught myself was, and the way it made it click in my head, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna make it into a fraction. So f4 is like 1/4, or f16 is 1/16, and that way I was like, okay, 1/4 is bigger than 1/16. And you also have to keep in mind when you are changing your aperture. So let's start at an f2. An f2 to an f2.8 is one full stop. And when you're going up a stop, that means you are cutting the amount of light that's coming through by 50%. And if you're going from 2.8 to 4, you're closing down your aperture, and you're cutting the amount of light that's coming in by 50% again. Those are called stops. So 2 to 2.8, one stop. 2.8 to 4, one stop. 4 to 5, 6, 5, 6 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 16, 16 to 22. Those are all full stops. And with each stop, you're cutting the amount of light by 50% each time. That is why the bigger number is associated with a smaller f-stop, because it's cutting more light down. And with that said, we'll move on to shutter speed. So shutter speed It is exactly how it sounds. It is the speed of your shutter. And the faster your shutter is, the less light will be coming through. The slower your shutter is, the more light will come through. Also, with a faster shutter, you will be freezing your subject faster. So let's say I'm shooting like a skateboarder or a soccer team. I have to shoot at a faster shutter speed to freeze them. And when I'm shooting at a faster shutter speed, that means I'm bringing in less light, right? So if I look at my image and I'm like, okay, my subject is frozen, but I don't have enough light coming through. That is when I look at my aperture and say, hey, can I bring in more light through my aperture? And if I can't bring in more light through my aperture, that is when I go to an ISO. So ISO, hold on, I need to drink some water. I'm like so parched. So ISO measures the sensitivity of your camera's sensor to light. And ISO stands for the International Organization of Standardization. Not like you care, but I think it's cool to understand what it stands for and what it means. So this organization standardizes sensitivity ratings for your camera's sensor. So like the purpose of these standards is so that it allows you to shoot the same ISO on different cameras and trust that the exposure value will be the same on each camera. In traditional film photography, ISO used to be called ASA or film speed, and that was just an indication of how sensitive the film was to light, and that was measured in numbers. So film speed will be, if you buy that box of film, it says like 100, 200, 400, 800. Those numbers are your ISO. So when you shoot film, you're technically choosing your ISO first above anything else. And the lower the number of your ISO, the less sensitive your film will be to light, which means there's gonna be less grain on your film. And when I say less sensitive, that means there's less light being brought onto the film. And it's the same with your digital camera. So with digital photography, ISO, it's just the indication of how sensitive your camera's sensor is to light. And it's the same with the numbers 100, 200, 400, 800. The lower the ISO, the less sensitive the sensor is. And the higher the ISO, the more sensitive it is. And I usually do ISO, I touch ISO with my digital camera last because of the sensitivity. I try to shoot always at the native ISO of my camera, and native ISO means like the lowest ISO that is on that camera. So on my camera, it's 100. And with 100, I know I'm not gonna get any noise on my image. And earlier I said grain for film. With digital photography, it's called noise, not grain. And I don't like the look of noise on my digital photos. I think it lessens the quality of the picture. But granted, with film photography, I love the look of grain on my pictures. I think it looks really beautiful and authentic and amazing. Keep in mind, you can always shoot on automatic if you want to, but I will push you and push you and push you not to, because then you're giving up all the control to your camera. And it's you as the artist that's creating the mood and aesthetic of the picture. And when you're shooting on automatic, you have no choice in the matter. So shoot on manual. Let's do a little recap. Set your aperture to a range between f2 or f4 to keep your subject sharp while the background becomes out of focus, or between f11 to f22 when shooting landscapes to keep everything in relatively sharp focus. Shutter speed. Set your shutter speed at like 125th of a second or higher to freeze your movement. In ISO, always start off on your native ISO unless you absolutely have to bring in more light. I wish I could continue talking more about all this, but I'm limited to 10 minutes on these IGTVs, which is so annoying, but hopefully this helped a little bit. Please DM me if you have any questions. Just practice, practice, practice. I'm going to try and do another one of these tutorials to like go more in depth with it, but love you all. Bye.